Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and I am your watch guy today. Today I'm reviewing my first left-handed watch, which is insane because I'm left-handed. It's not this, by the way. This is another little beauty that you're going to see very soon. And genuinely, let me not get into that because I'll be going on for hours. Right. Today I'm reviewing my first left-handed piece and it comes from Pagani Design. It is a homage to the Rolex Sprite that was released earlier in the year. Now, it caused a massive storm. Everyone was talking about how innovative it is, how genius Rolex are, how open-minded they are to the market. I mean, no one really mentioned that Panerai Zin did it prior to them. And as well as that, they also tested it out first with Tudor's releases to just make sure that people actually wanted it. And then they dipped the toes in and just re-released their earlier models in a left-handed piece. Yeah, innovation at its finest, Rolex. Thanks for that. But today we are not talking about Rolex. Today we are talking about Pagani Design and their latest in their GMT line, which obviously homages the Rolex GMT Masters. This one is actually £95 on the Aliexpress official store at the moment. However, there is a back to school set. Yeah, back to school. Get your kid a watch for back to school. Why not? Why not? This is available in the back to school sale for £81, and I think that's a really attractive price for probably the only left-handed drive watch that you will see on the AliExpress market. So let me turn this camera around and let's get into this review. Today, guys, I am reviewing my first left-hand drive watch. Now, I am actually a very proud lefty. I think those left-handed people should be protected, celebrated, and, well, revered. I think we're great. I really do. And not enough companies on the market are producing left-hand watches. Now, obviously, we see where Pagani Design have got this design from. The Rolex released this year was well celebrated by their fans, their fanboys, etc, etc. Now, what Rolex released was a left-hand GMT model, their first left-handed watch, and that is what Rolex are now calling innovation. I'm going to stop. Right, yeah. We know my feelings on Rolex sometimes, don't we? But this one comes in at a fraction of the price. Now, Pagani Design released this as a follow-up to their GMT line. I have already got one of these GMTs in my collection. However, I have an aluminium bezel. This one, ceramic bezel insert, and it really does catch the light nicely. As well as that, we have a 120-click unidirectional bezel, which has that Rolex-esque type of grip to the outer edge, which is really nice to see. We have high polish finishes to the outer side of the casing, but that is followed up with some really lovely brushing to the upper side of these lugs. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this piece because obviously I've already reviewed a Pagani Design GMT. I'm going to keep these facts and figures nice and simple for you, and I'm going to tell you what I really do like about this watch, where it should be improved, and I'm going to advise you on where you can pick it up. So let's begin with that. Now, this is packed with a Pearl GMT movement. That is a Chinese movement. However, the one that I have in my collection has held up for about 2 years now, so that speaks to the longevity of this piece, I believe. As well as that, I've seen it in the likes of Parnas, and it's held up in them also. I think the stigma behind the Chinese watch movement market is starting to become less and less so. And that's because they are proving us wrong pretty much every time we doubt them, I think. Now, this watch is a 40mm case. Let me get some calipers and we will get some accurate sizing for you. Including the bezel, this one comes in at 41.1mm wide. It has a lug-to-lug of 47.7. These are 20mm lugs. And to finish this off, it is slightly under 13mm thick. It is 12.96mm. One thing I will say, this is an absolute fingerprint magnet. Now, I really do like the green and black aesthetic to this one. And obviously we do owe that to Rolex, that green Sprite type of feel to the colour options on here. However, Pagani have followed up very nicely with the green GMT hand and the green GMT print. It's nice to see them make those additions or customizations to the dial. Now we have a screw-in crown that is signed by Pagani Design, and it has that queen edge finish to it. Easy to get hold of. One downside to this piece, or one niggly moan for this piece, is that it is obviously still fitted with the same pearl movements. It's not a left-hand drive movement, it's just a left-hand aesthetic watch, if you will. So you do have to wind downwards on this one. And the date, again, downwards instead of upwards. GMT hand, upwards instead of downwards. And to finish off, the same type of vibe with the minute and hour hand, which will it will take some getting used to, I think, for a lot of people. However, it's a small price to pay. You have to set it like, what, once a day maybe? Another thing to point out is the gasket on the inside of this crown. That aids to this watch's 100 meters of water resistance. That comes with this casing being provided with a display case back. This is definitely the same casing, same bracelet, etc, that they are using for their standard GMT models. They're just flipping the dial and casing for us and giving us that left hand aesthetic, which, you know, is a nice option, I think, for a lot of people. I feel like it's a nice option for a budget option in the GMT market, and I don't think that anyone else is really doing it at the moment. Obviously, people will catch on due to the hype around the Rolex and the fact that you can't pick it up, as usual with Rolex, release a watch that they don't have any of. Again, I'm going to avoid getting into that, but I do think that this really does add a nice dynamic to the AliExpress market. I think it adds a nice addition to your options, and options are never a bad thing. Personally, I'd probably pick this one out of the bunch for the Pagani Design GMTs. Obviously, with myself being a left-handed person, I would opt for the left-hand side watch. As well as that though, I do think that the green and black really does offer a lovely aesthetic, and I think that it plays really nicely with the lights in this ceramic bezel insert. The dial itself is the simple gloss finish. It does have Lume in the center of the indices, all applied indices throughout, and a minute track on the outer edge. Let me turn the light out, we'll get this charged, and we'll have a little Lume shot here. One thing that has not changed on this one is the standard of Lume. We do have quite a bit of patchiness on the minute hand in particular. It's nice to see the GMT hand loomed. That adds a little bit of functionality to the dial itself. The dial isn't well loomed on those indices, however, it is lasting better than I expected it to. I think on this one, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. I think that it's lasting longer than we expect. It's loomed in all the right places, but it does have patchy aspects to certain parts. I think that we would definitely let them off with this, considering the budget of the watch and the fact that it's not a dive piece, it's not that way inclined, it is a sports watch by nature. Another nice option on this one is the Jubilee bracelet. I think the Jubilee bracelet is a really nice fit to wrist. Has a little bit of taper here. You can see that these are screw links. Again, that makes it a little bit more premium for myself. A nice brushed finish to the outer edge of the bracelet and polished in links. As well as that follows through to the clasp. This is the classic Pagani Design style clasp. Opens out, little milled feature there, little machined feature even. Really nice levels of brushing on the clasp there. Fits nicely to wrist, solid end links. Let me pop it on wrist and give you a look. Now, as I say, left hand watch is suited very well to myself and this left hand fit. And there we go. It is a really nice watch to wear, and honestly, it adds a little bit of a dynamic to my collection because obviously I wear a lot of right-handed watches. It's very rare that I actually have any sort of look at a left-handed watch, and that's because I've become completely accustomed to the crown being on the other side of the piece. But it is really nice to have delved into this world a little bit. I personally wanted this watch because I wanted to see what it's like on a left-handed piece. However, I don't think I'd ever spend the type of money that
it costs to get a Tudor, Zin, or the likes, especially indefinitely not the Rolex. I would not be paying anywhere near what they want for them. It's nice to have this option in the collection. So where are my downsides lying with this piece? Well, the movement does make a little bit of noise. It isn't the smoothest in the world. However, it is a budget GMT movement, automatic GMT movement at that. So it is definitely punching above its weight for the price range. However, it does make a little bit of a wrist wobble, and it does make a little bit of noise with the rotor. And following that up, my biggest moan for this piece is that goddamn Cyclops. I hate them. Absolutely hate them. I just don't see the point. Like, it doesn't magnify it properly. It's not anti-reflective coated. It just cheapens the look, Pagani. We need to get rid of them. We need to get rid of that Cyclops, guys. And pretty much all the time they're misaligned. So you're just doing yourselves dirty in that aspect. Overall, it's a really nice piece. I'm really glad that the Pagani Design official store sent me this one in, because I've really enjoyed getting to grips with a left-handed piece. So it's been a nice experience, and I do think for the price, it's definitely worth it, especially if you're left-handed like myself and you'd like to have a watch that actually fits correctly to your wrist. See how all those right-handers feel when they put a piece on. Yeah, nice to see this one in the market.
Thank you for watching me rant on about Rolex for 15 minutes, guys. I really do appreciate it. I just need to vent sometimes, you know. They just get under my skin so bloody much. And I can't even complain that much, because I base so much content around them. They're just that brand that I really do love to hate. And with that being said, Pagani Design are probably the brand that I really should hate, yet I just absolutely love. And I love what they've done here. I really do appreciate the fact that they have put in the time and effort into releasing this piece with new features. Obviously, they can't just rehash the dial. They do have to remake that. And I think they've done a really good job. These watches, as we can see, are definitely going to be sale fodder for Pagani Design. With this £15 discount, I think that they're well worth it, especially if you're left-handed and you haven't got a left-hand watch. Thank you for watching this one, guys. If you'd like to pick up the watch, it is linked in the description from the Pagani Design official store. Thank you to them for sending this one in for me to review. I really do appreciate it. It did help the channel quite a bit here. Thank you for watching this one, guys. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. I have plenty more AliExpress content coming throughout this sale. I'll see you in the next one.